Hello, and welcome to episode 38 of Let's Talk Immigration. Wow, been doing this 38 weeks, pretty crazy. I don't have any particular updates, things I want to talk about in the immigration world right now. What I would like to do is answer your questions if you're out there. If you're out there watching and you have questions, you can drop those questions into YouTube or Facebook comments, and we will see them, or Telegram if you're watching from Telegram, and I will address those questions. And today will be a short episode. Okay, so let's start. AK says, hello, Curtis. First of all, thank you for the work you do. My wife is currently ISL. What embassy would you recommend to transfer our case to, and can you transfer on a visit visa? ISL is definitely not a good embassy to be waiting for a visa interview right now. Where you can transfer to depends upon your wife's means and mobility. I need choices. You know, there's 180 embassies that issue immigrant visas, and basically all 179, other than ISL, are better than ISL, or better than Islamabad. So, if you want me to compare a few, you need to offer what those few are. I know a lot of people from Islamabad can get visas to Abu Dhabi or to UAE, and so they're like, oh, let me transfer the case to Abu Dhabi. Unfortunately, Abu Dhabi has like one of the probably the second biggest backlog in the system. So I don't recommend that. I recommend if there's any way you can move heaven and earth to get your visa applicant out of the region, hopefully in Europe or Africa, they would be, or South America, they would be in much better position. If your wife or you are a remote worker, I know that there are countries that have remote worker visas. Third countries, but I guess it depends what your first 2, 3 countries are. It might be the fourth country. You could if you could get a visa to a country with a U.S. embassy that doesn't have a backlog, establish residence there, you can just pop in the embassy for an interview. And an example of that is Spain. I have an attorney in Madrid that is really good with working with remote workers for Spain, for example. If you're not a remote worker means you work from home, then none of that applies. It doesn't work. Okay. James says, good evening. It's raining here in Monrovia. Today is Independence Day. Liberia is 176 years old today. That is wonderful. Happy Independence Day, Liberia. I have something I've always thought was cool about Liberia is there are presidents of Liberia that were born in Kentucky for bad reasons because of slavery, but it's always been interesting to me that there were presidents of another country that were actually born in, like where I'm from, Kentucky, USA. So anyway, happy Independence Day, James. July 26th, I'll remember that. Anna says hello, hello. Mustafa says, what happened with 2021 lottery winner? Good luck. Well, we are waiting for the Biden administration's appeal. We're waiting for the outcome of that appeal in September. A 3-judge panel heard oral arguments that were based upon the filed pleadings, the filed briefs in the case, and now they've been deliberating. And when they are done deliberating and they are ready to issue their opinion and they issue it and it's published on the docket, we will share that information. But right now, we are waiting for the outcome of the appeal. Hanny says, recently I saw a judge blocked a Biden decision about immigration. Bad for those immigrants, but maybe good for lawsuit where the government argued that the president do what he wants without any possible judicial review. Do you agree? Hi, Hanny. I have not read the order yet. I know the order you're talking about. It's a really peculiar situation because Biden administration is telling everybody that they're pro-immigrant, but the actual asylum policy that they had was a no asylum policy where they were throttling access to asylum. And it's just very different than what we're dealing with legal paths to immigration in our lawsuits, because our lawsuits are about legal paths to immigration. The what happens at the border is migration. It's not technically immigration. It's a little different. The law is a little different, and so I don't think that there is um, a legal point in that case that supports our position, but I haven't read the order yet to make sure. When I do read that order, if I see something that will support our positions in existing lawsuits, I will definitely file those in our cases as supplemental authority. I've done that a lot in the past. Anna says, thank you for these efforts. You're welcome. Let me think here. Okay. Lala says, good afternoon, Curtis. I heard a rumor that U.S. embassies in India are issuing spousal visas without in-person visa interviews. I thought the in-person interview was a requirement, but I've read that this could be up to the consular officer's discretion. Have you heard anything similar or any thoughts on this? Spouse visas, an immigrant visa, either F2A, R1, or F2A or R1 or CR1, they do require immigrant visa interviews. So I think maybe there's been some confusion in the rumor because somebody went to a visa interview for a different kind of visa while they were also part of that they were pursuing two different visa routes at the same time. That's what I think happened there, because I've never heard of um, an exception to that, other than the young age, old age exception. 2-year-olds don't have to go to visa interviews, although I recommend it. Over 80 don't have to go to visa interviews. I forget exactly where that's at there, maybe 82 do not have to go to visa interviews, but I recommend it. Do you have any updated report on the Islamabad visa backlog? Hello, Mr. Robot. I do not have an update on that. Mustafa says, we've been waiting for a year almost. We will die waiting. I don't know what you're waiting on, Mustafa. Have you, oh, you asked about good luck. So you're a good luck plaintiff. You've been waiting for more than a year, Mustafa. You've been waiting since you were alerted. You entered the DV 2021 lottery in October of 2019. So you've been waiting quite longer than a year. But I understand what you're saying, that it's frustrating to wait, but your alternative is to not wait. You're here, meaning you're still invested in the outcome. You want to see what happens, so keep waiting. Hang in there. Ahmad says, will the owners of Lottery 2020 be pulled from the depths of the dark ocean, and when will life pass so quickly? Ahmad, that sounds like you've been taking a poetry class. We don't know when the outcome of the appeal will come. I can say, I say that no less than 1,000 times a week. No matter how you ask the question, even if it is eloquent and poetic as you have done, it's still going to be the same answer. I do not know when the outcome of the appeal will happen. Question from Telegram. Thank you for posting this. I'm a good luck plaintiff, currently divorced from my spouse since 2023. Okay. My spouse with children not planning to use reserved visas anymore. Should I provide this information to you? At this time, if you did, we would just put a note on your case. So it's not essential that you do it. It becomes more important after we win summary judgment and the State Department is ready to issue visas. They are not going to issue a visa to someone who does not attend an interview. So there's no risk here of your divorced spouse getting a visa, or your children for that matter, if they do not attend the interview. Okay. The question from Telegram: I'm still planning to go to the interview if reserved visas will be issued. Of course. So I don't think there's any need for you to do anything really. I mean, if you let us know, we'll put a note, but that's just for us to know. Okay. So I don't see any more questions. Y'all gotta ask the questions, or I don't have that much to talk about. Okay. I'll briefly cover something that's come up. Individual mandamus lawsuits for people that are in AP. A lot of those are being filed lately, and there is a reservation about filing them in DC because there have been more than, I think, 5 or 6 that I'm aware of cases where the government has filed a motion to dismiss. I still think that people are overreacting about that, because the reason the government's filed motions to dismiss in those cases is the U.S. attorney has not been assigned until the very last day. And so the U.S. attorney doesn't have time to get with the State Department to clear those cases. That being said, if the petitioner lives in another district inside the United States, the U.S. attorneys, assistant U.S. attorneys in those districts do not have the same backlogs as the ones in D.C. So it does make sense to explore both options when you are suing the State Department. Does it make more sense to file in D.C., or does it make more sense to file where the petitioner resides, in the jurisdiction where the petitioner resides? So that's something that you can discuss with me or whatever, Raphael, whatever attorney you go to consult with about a individual mandamus lawsuit for AP. Okay, I don't see any more questions, and I have a ton of work to do, so today's going to be the shortest Let's Talk Immigration ever. Oh, somebody snuck in a question. We had a DV-2202 interview. I think it's 2023 interview, and sent to AP in the end of June. Do you still accept AP mandamus cases? I do not. They would be a particular challenge at this point. I am aware that a colleague of mine that I used to work with, Abadir Bare, is accepting. He's doing consults with DV 2023 selectees because he does have capacity, so you might want to check with him. Abadir Bare, Barre. But I do not have capacity to do DV-23 AP lawsuits at this point. They're more work when it gets closer to September 30th, because it's likely that you will need a motion for preliminary injunction, something to get the judge's attention before September 30th. Ruthlev says, could you elaborate on what will happen in September for good luck plaintiffs? Ruthlev, I'm not aware that anything will happen in September for good luck plaintiffs. I don't think the month of September has a cosmic significance to our litigation. The opinion from the Circuit Court of Appeals, the 3-judge panel, it comes when they're ready to publish it, and it has nothing to do with September. Okay, this is for real. Wrapping up early. See you all next week for episode 39 of Let's Talk Immigration. Have a great week.